wanted to ask you about, structure in one's life. I'm just kind of curious, for people like if they have a routine, a set routine, does that help, I guess, make their brain, stronger in some regard? I mean, it depends what you're putting in the structure. So I'll give you an example. So when I, wake up in the morning now, I kind of do this kind of exercise routine, a little stretching routine. I made a point, do not touch the phone until I'm done this like 20-minute routine. I've been holding firm on this. I've started this like the last month or so, in anticipation of, after of this podcast and learning a bit about you. So then I was like, okay, what about the end of the day? So I make a point of, I've been doing reading like for the last like year or so. At the end of the day, maybe like 15, 20 minutes. And then I would do maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of guided meditation to kind of ease me into the sleep mode. So wonder if you can maybe speak to that, but just some kind, there's just routines in general and maybe some better routines that we should kind of, be aware of and maybe try to adopt.
Yeah, that's a great question. And what you're doing is awesome, especially for your sleep. So sleep is extremely important for us and for our brain because during sleep, our brain actually sort of gets reset and these glial cells in our brain actually mop up all of the extra neurotransmitters and any toxins and stuff in our brain. So it gets rid of all those things during sleep, and then we lay down new memories and we do a bunch of other stuff during sleep, which is really important for us. So it's really important to get good sleep, and good sleep hygiene, which is what they talk about, is all about having that routine before you go to bed, but also when you get up in the morning. So always getting up at the same time in the morning will actually help you get to sleep at night, which is, something that most people don't think about. They try and go to sleep at a certain time, but then they don't realize that getting up in the morning at the same time is also really important. So having both ends like that and having routines then that you do when you first wake up is also really important for bringing yourself back to consciousness, because of course you're unconscious when you're asleep, and then you want to do that slowly. And so we want to do that in a positive way and set up our days in a really positive way. So doing something like stretches or exercise or walk the dog or whatever you do is a really positive way to do that. And what you want to do is avoid any stress. And so one of those stresses that we have in our lives, of course, is our devices. And so avoiding those for a little while is actually a really good thing to do. And a lot of people sort of like that, but I like my phone and I like to check, and I get stressed if I don't check my phone, which is actually not true. Checking your phone, just picking up your phone, actually causes stress in all of us. So it's not that you actually like it. It's just that you're trained to like it because you're addicted to it, not because it's actually good for you or that it decreases your stress. It increases your stress. And then there's huge amount of research showing that. So yeah, lay off the phones for the first 30 minutes and do something else. Go for a walk, have a chat to your partner, have a chat to your kids, whatever it happens to be, but something physical and something which is positive. And again, at night, you've got to relax. You've got to stop thinking, and you've got to put the phones away, because the phones also have blue light, which actually activates areas of your brain, which actually decrease the likelihood of you going to sleep. So you don't want to be on devices just before you go to sleep. You want to read things on a piece of paper or do some meditation or something like that, but don't have the device there, and don't have that interrupting that transition into sleep. Also, when we actually lay down our memories at night, when we're actually sleeping, we actually do it in reverse order. So if you're actually trying to learn new stuff, or if you've got kids who are trying to learn new stuff, the best thing to do is actually read through it just before you go to sleep, because that's the information that will be laid down in your long-term memory first. So that's also a good tip. But again, do it on paper. Don't do it on a device, but do it on paper. Write down some notes of stuff you want to remember or whatever, and then read it just before you hit the stack, and it'll actually be laid down first, so you remember it better. So that's also an interesting tip.